So today I'm going to be telling you all about my tattoos and piercings. I'm going to the beach right after this, so I figured I'm already half naked and now's the time. So as you may or may not know, I actually have 7 piercings and 3 tattoos. So you are going to hear 10 very exciting, or not at all exciting stories. And I'm just going to tell you about them in order of occurrences on my body. The first thing that I ever got pierced were just my earlobes. I think I got them pierced when I was like 9 or 10 at the good old Claire's, like every other 90s child. And while mine did not get infected, one of them did end up kind of closing, and I'm pretty sure I was just a really wussy child because I could not handle my mom trying to like re-pierce my ear, and I was like, I give up, that's too hard. So they did end up closing and I had to get them re-pierced a couple years later when I was like 15 or something. Those aren't that exciting. The next thing that I ever got done was my cartilage. Now, my cartilage piercing, I don't know what came over me. I am a very obsessive human being, and when I get an idea in my head, like I need to do that and I need to do it now. So Lauren, the impatient child that I am, couldn't wait to go get my cartilage professionally done. So I called my friend and I was like, you're coming over and you're gonna pierce my ear. Children, I do not recommend doing this at home. I sterilized, it wasn't even like a real needle. It was like a brooch that I found that had, it was like the sharpest looking thing that I could find. So I took the brooch off of it, at least like sanitized everything several times beforehand, and did like the counter. I did everything I would possibly touch myself, the area. So I made a mark where I wanted it. My friend is over and she's ready to go, and I'm literally sitting there and I'm like, okay, stab me. This girl literally drops my beautifully triple sanitized needle and goes into the corner and was like, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. I was so pissed because I was like, it's not even your ear. She's like, I know, but I'm afraid of needles. I was like, the rage that was in me ripped the needle back, re-sanitized it, and just started jamming it in my ear myself. I am Lauren, I'm a minor psychopath. The thing with your cartilage though, is it doesn't just like go straight through. You kind of have to stick it through and it pops, and then you kind of gotta dig around until it pops again. But I must say, while I still to this day don't recommend it, I never got an infection and I still have the piercing today. I'm a good role model. I think that the next thing that I ever got done was my belly button. Now this, I wasn't gonna mess with. I did go to a professional, actually got that appropriately done, but I did get it like the weekend of my high school graduation, which was just kind of annoying because if you don't know, you have to clean your belly button ring every like 4 hours or something. Like, I don't even remember, but you have to do it a lot. And I had like a booked weekend and I'm in a gown the whole time, and I kept having to like run to the bathroom in the middle of my graduation and like spray my own belly button. But I mean, obviously it wasn't that big of a deal, so that was that. Now I believe the next thing that happened was my first tattoo. The first tattoo I ever got, I was 18 years old. Now, for me and myself, and only myself, I like to dwell on things and think about tattoos for a really long time before actually getting them on my body. So I think that I actually got it when I was 18, but I wanted it for several years. It's a line from a song by the band Bright Eyes, and the song is First Day of My Life. So the entire line from the song goes, so if you want to be with me with these things, there's no telling, you'll just have to wait and see, but I'd rather be working for a paycheck than waiting to win the lottery. So small Lauren was like, I like the whole line, but I also didn't want to devote myself to 4 lines of text on my very small rib cage. So I was like, I want the last 2 because to me, the important part of that is the last 2 lines itself. And I also felt like if I put all 4 lines on there, and I was like, I'm kind of making it about like a man or like another person, which is not what I get from it. It's more of like a way of living in a self like mantra, if you will. Because for me, I personally feel like it is better to work really hard and like eventually achieve something than to sit there happily and hope that it will fall into your lap. So basically, I got that tattoo because A, I love that song since it first came out when I was like 10 or something. And also it's a good like self-motivational, you know, get your butt in gear, Lauren. The next thing that I ever got done were my doubles right here. I think that I got them done in like a Myers or somewhere really random, but hey, we haven't had any problems, so can't complain. The next thing was my nose. Now the thing with my nose is I got it done initially and I had my nose pierced for about like 2 years, I want to say. Then what ended up happening is the only nose rings that I had were the kind that you just like stick in there and there's a little ball at the end that's supposed to keep them in, but that did not work with my nose. I kept waking up in the morning and like my nose ring just fell out in the night in my bed and it was gone forever in the abyss. So my nose actually ended up closing, which I was kind of okay with because I don't know, I was just kind of over it and it didn't really bother me that much until like a year later I was noticing a lot of like pictures of people with nose rings and I was like, man, I kind of want my nose ring back. So if you had not figured it out by this point, nah, I I have issues. I was like, let me just see like if I really need to go and like get it re-pierced again. Sometimes they don't close up all the way. Got a real needle this time. It was actually, no, it wasn't even a real needle. It was like a sewing kit needle, but it was still better than broke. I sanitized it again and I kind of just like stuck it in my nose like this and was like, oh yeah, okay, like I can start it. It just, there's like a layer of skin in there that I just kind of need to get through. So I bought a proper nose ring, and this nose ring, how it went was it was like straighten out, but then once you put it in your nose, you would push this part flat so it would go against your nose and it wouldn't fall out. But my issue was I could pierce my nose, but when I would pull the needle out and stick my actual nose ring in there, I couldn't get it to like bend and lay flat against the inside of my nose. So I'm literally just struggling. So I had an idea. I went up to my father who was watching TV at the time and I was like, Dad, this might be one of the weirdest things that I'll ever ask you, but can you stick these pliers up my nose and bend my nose ring for me? The man's just laying there, he's like, yep, where are they at? So what I did was I had the nose ring in there and I actually just stood there like this, and my dad stuck some very small pliers up my nose, bent the metal flat against my nose, and here we are today. The next thing that I got done was this tattoo, which is on my wrist. There's only been like 3 people in my entire life that have ever actually noticed my tattoo on my wrist on their own accord, because it is done with white ink, and I'm a very pale person and it doesn't really stand out. So this tattoo is actually a symbol called Ingas, and what it is basically an old Norwegian symbol that they used to like draw on rocks, and like they would make runes out of them and like do all this stuff whenever they needed to like gather strength basically. And my family actually is Norwegian, and so it was kind of just like it worked out perfectly. This is just something that I really like. It's something for like my background, and it's also just kind of a reminder like anytime I'm feeling not so great. Just like a personal reminder to like look at and be like, oh yeah, you are better than this, get it together. And then lastly is my last tattoo, which is on my thigh. So this is basically my big old wolf head. My sister likes to call it my vagina wolf. You can call it whatever you want. So the reason I got this tattoo, we're about to get so deep and personal. There's a quote that says, wolves do not lose sleep over the words of sheep, and that line has always stood out to me. But there was a point in my life right before I got this tattoo that I just was feeling like a lot of people were being very critical and were pissing me off. I just couldn't do anything right. And for me, yeah, I just really wanted a reminder that, you know, sometimes that's gonna be life. People are gonna think things and people are gonna do things and it's out of your control. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because you are a wolf and they are sheep and you can eat them. So initially I really wanted to get a wolf tattoo, which was gonna be my personal reminder of that quote, blah, 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 you're figuring it out. But at the same time, I think it's also really important that like for me, I don't get too arrogant or like too far in so that you don't listen to anyone's opinions at all. I want to take this line and it means all this stuff. But at the same time, I wanted to put sort of a softer edge around it. Just as also a reminder of like, yeah, that is like something that I live my life by, but I also do think it's important to listen to people that care about you and people who really have your best interest in mind. So that is why I have a little wolf head and some flowers around it. Symbolize the the softness. And that is everything. I hope that you actually enjoyed this video and you found it interesting. Thank you so much for watching. Go put on some lotion, go on a picnic, and have a nice day. Bye. Thanks for watching.